Whoa. Whoa, it's the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. What's going on, Glenn Davis? Number one, Chris, yo. We are here live on August 7th, dude, fighting the good fight, man. And what's going on, Grateful Ed? Good to see you. Subscribe, like, become a member, support your favorite talker, motivational speaker. This is the illusion. Haven't checked in for a long time. Well, I'm glad you're back, brother. It's a good one to get fired on. This is going to be one of those making lemon out of lemonades type of, or making lemonades out of lemons type of thing today, dude. Let's win. Let's settle. Let's not settle, dude. We ain't settling, dude. So, I mean, to get it, I guess I'll just let everybody cruise in, give it like 5 minutes here, but the weather's starting to change a little bit. It's cooling down. Settle for the truth. Yeah, I get you. It's starting to cool down a little bit, dude. Owl played with the church band, 2 other kids, one on guitar, one singing. They had their first practice today. Owl on drums, dude. It was pretty cool. Owl stepped right into his first experience playing with other kids, which was cool to watch. He was kind of nervous. Then he knows what to do, dude. But I don't think you know what to do till you know what to do, dude. Yeah, he's super fired up on it. So they got to practice next Saturday, dude. They're gonna get a little band together, dude. Church starts there, right? Starts there. So that was super encouraging and inspiring. And the garden's been producing a lot of zucchinis. The tomatoes are about to pop. Lots of jalapenos, and I'm getting some of these trippy melons I've been growing and some cantaloupes, and the watermelons are starting to fill out. So that's good. And that's his first example of the drum practice paying off. He was prepared for an awesome. Yeah, totally, dude. And it was, they're playing simple church songs, but it's first time realizing that he's the groove, dude. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, dude. It's something that can't be taught. It can only be learned, man. So that was super cool. And we're transitioning up here. We're about to transition a client out who's been up here for, man, I guess 9 months, dude. So that's good. They're moving on to their next adventure, which is going to be a big change of energy. And been skating a bunch, and we're fired up in the dream, dude. I had to pass on that phone call right now. It's my bro. So I guess we're gonna get, so we lost on Friday, and I got the email about 10:30, dude. So the loss, what is the loss? So we as a youth advocate, right? I've been let me stop for a second, because I want to tie in. People always ask me what you would tell young people, and the information varies here and there. But one thing I would tell young people is the reason to rebel is real. Just don't get caught up in the drugs and alcohol part of the rebellion. If anything, get caught up into the musical part of the rebellion. I was listening to. I hadn't listened to Gish in probably 30 years, dude. I hadn't listened to Gish. I was listening to Dan. I was thinking about what it was for all those, Gen Xers. We were Gen Xers. What was going on in 1991 right? And in the early 90s, I was thinking about it, and I was remembering listening to all that music for the first time and what was going on. And I wasn't crazy, dude. The reason to rebel was apparent, but the trick to you young people is they perfectly have aligned with that thing: drugs, alcohol, psychedelics, pot, all these diffusers, right? And you think you're in the rebellion, and but all that's doing is zapping your good ideas. And so it's going to be a little bit convoluted, but this has all got a main focal point, and it's advocating for the youth. And you got to be, when you're a youth, you have to advocate for yourself. It's super important to understand you have to advocate for yourself. And what the system wants you to do, the gatekeepers, the controllers, the whatever they are, they want you to back away from the system. That's the wrong move. The rebellion is Neo going right into the agent's chest. That's what you got to do. And so anything that would distract you from that or alter your mental frequencies is a trick to get you away from it. And I had a conversation with the dude the other day, because if you understand most of our music going back to FM radio, Elvis, punk rock, the psychedelics, the whole thing, almost all music that appears to be in rebellion to the system is concocted by the system. Punk rock is a huge example of a music that was artificially constructed by the system, coming out of the hippie rebellion and the whole thing. And you can say the same thing about the rap music when they take over hip hop, because hip hop was pretty pure, man. But when they take it over and make it into rap and do that whole thing, you know, with the NWA and the Public Enemy and all that kind of stuff, dude, it's when it splits and turns into this insanity that it is now. And so what I'm getting about is being youth is very important to advocate for yourself if you're young. And if you're older, which I am at this stage of my life, is to keep advocating for the youth and to inspire them to push back against the system and not fall out of the system, right? Because the system's depending upon you walking away, and it's not how you get things done. So we lost. We got the email yesterday. We lost. And what did we lose? So me and my buddy. So if you know that the entire history of this channel has a theme in it. And one of the themes has been me being on the outside of the system and going inside of the system to save a skate park. So when I was first doing this channel, I had gotten in on all the thrasher and the bowl cut and all that stuff. And this local kid from Malibu, this young kid called Little Mr. Goat. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he is now. He's probably got to be almost 30 by now. Little Mr. Goat got a hold of me. And he was like, hey, will you help me save Papa Jack's skate park? And you have to understand, I'm a concrete guy. I don't really deal with wood and metal, but he was like, help us save Papa Jack's, which was in Malibu, and it was a metal skate park. And, you know, the kids, it was their skate park. And I got involved with that project and it's like 2011. I got involved with that project. And I found out that they were closing the park and they were using the youth's advocacy of their parents and the community for a land deal. They were basically closing the skate park to get the kids all riled up so everyone would get involved so they could do this land exchange and build out this chunk of land in Malibu and exchange like the building process for a chunk of property for the skate park. And I got involved because I was just trying to save the skate park. And I saw that the kids were being used as leverage for this big real estate scam. And I got super like pissed because I was like, that ain't cool, man. And having followed city politics most of my life, I was like, yeah, but I just, you know, the skaters were getting sucked down. So I got super involved, man. And that was 14 years ago, almost 15 years ago. And in that process, they closed this kid's park. And we had an iteration where we were going to build one skate park. And then that deal got pulled out from under us. And then we were going to build a different park. And that deal got shut down. And to the point where about in 2018, we had the entire political climate in Malibu was pro skate park. So the city council at the time was pro skate park. So they put me in parks and recreation. And understand, I ran for city council twice to get the skate park built. Well, in the process, that was in 2018. You have to understand I'll give you my theme. So anyway, so in 2018, we made a deal with the city where they were going to build a temporary wooden skate park with skate-alite and bowls and the whole thing, top of the line wooden skate park. I was not an advocate for it because I wanted the cement park to be built. So they invested a bunch of money in this wooden skate park, and while they got all the details for the cement skate park, right? And so this all gets delayed with all the chaos and fires and blah, 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 and COVID and all this stuff. And move the ball forward. The wooden skate park is still, it's because it's made with skate-alite and top of the line materials. It's still a super functional skate park, like super functional. So that was there while they're building the cement skate park, and they wanted to throw the wooden skate park in the dumpster, dude. And I've been battling them on that for a year and a half, because when they put the bid out to build the cement skate park, in the bid was to demolish the temporary skate park and put it in the dumpster. And I was like, no, dude, it's a fully functioning skate park. Like, either move it or give it to somebody or donate it. So the intent of the city staff has been to throw this thing about, and we've fought them every step of the way, dude. And it came down to they were going to throw the thing away and surplus it. And me and my buddy got gnarly. So we spent the last 10 days battling with City Hall. And we're sending out emails to the council members and stuff. We were trying to get, because the city staff wouldn't lift their finger because they viewed it as garbage. And we wanted to get it donated to the community of Altadena, because Altadena burned down, so did Malibu and the whole thing. Me and my buddy were trying to get it, with the help of one of our city council friends, was trying to get it donated to the city of Altadena for their kids, because they're a lesser economically community and Malibu's a rich community. So let's just give them the skate park. Let us raise the money. We'll move it there and pay for the whole thing. City staff and a majority of the city council members refuse this, dude. Refuse to make this happen. And all of a sudden, city of Altadena was on the spot within, because they have all the phone numbers to all these people, right? So our council member got a hold of the city of Altadena, but it's not an official city, so it's got a town council and whatnot. The political structure is very important to understand. And city of Altadena didn't have enough time to put it together, and the city staff basically were like, we're demoing it. So the skate park, we got the notice at 10 o'clock on Friday night from the city manager that no deal can be reached with the city of Altadena and the community of Altadena. I guess city's a misnomer. The community of Altadena, and the skate park's going to be salvaged. And so I just got footage. There's one person got a bid and they're stripping the skate-alite. So there's still a fully functioning skate park underneath the skate-alite built. I think we spent close to $250,000 to build this thing, dude. And it's bomber, dude. And someone's taking the skate-alite, and then someone else bid on I think's getting rid of the bowl. And we lost. And I guess the point of the thing is, I was talking to my buddy who we battled with. I mean, I probably got 100 emails. We fought hard, dude, because they didn't follow city procedures. And, we were pulling out, we were battling them with the legalese, dude. And You know, the thing that I will tell you, dude, that is being a youth advocate, and skateboarding's my youth advocacy lane, means battling the system. Because if you're a youth advocate, the only reason you need to be a youth advocate is because the city is against the youth. And we're far enough into this generational shift and all this stuff, and with the information stuff is the city, the system, the city, the government, whatever, is against the youth. They are always going to be against the youth. They hate the youth because they're controlled by the two generations removed from the youth. Dude, they don't have any value. They don't see any value in the youth. And so if you're a youth advocate, it means that your mission is to battle the system, dude. And in no uncertain terms, it's you know, we talk about the usage of words. There's no kumbaya. It's open warfare with the system. And it's a battle. Me and my buddy went in and we lost. And it sucks, dude. Like, it sucks that this perfectly good skate park is going to end up in the landfill. It pisses me off. It makes me a little bit bitter. It makes me a little bit sad. And it ultimately makes me feel powerless. And that's why I got to come on here and live stream, because we're not powerless, dude. Because the fact of the matter is, they were going to throw this skate park in the dumpster 6 months ago. And me and my buddy got wind of it. And we used all of our political clout to stop it. And we did. We stopped it for 6 months, and the kids got to skate for another 6 months, and we battled as hard as we could, man. And we didn't pull it off. We thought we were going to. It looked real, because we had the community of Altadena like really into it, and they just wouldn't allow us to have enough time, because there was a nonprofit organization that wanted it, and they just wouldn't let us maneuver the pieces. And it sucks, dude. But the thing that the conclusion I really did come through, and this, my buddy was talking about it, because if you're a youth advocate, that means you're battling the system. And as a parent, see, when I started this battle for the skate parks, I wasn't a parent, dude. I was just a skateboarder, dude. You know what I mean? And for me, skate parks are the name of the game, dude. They are the town halls of the future. It's, if you believe in the aliens, it's where the spaceships fit. It's their landing pads, dude. They fit the bottom of the spaceships. But dude, you'd have to go talk to Monk about all that stuff, dude. Anyway, yeah, and so, you know, realizing what I realized, you know, I've made my entire life centered around advocating for my child and his life and his future and his potentiality and all of these things. And I wanted to talk about, like, it's never too late to advocate for the youth, which means battling the system. Because, like, just being like, I'm down for the kids, like, they're fantastic, that ain't enough. You got to go get involved. You got to get involved, and you got to take your licks. And the tragedy is, it was just me and my one buddy, dude, down there battling, dude, for the youth. Like the disenfranchisement is there. Like, if we just had a couple more players, we would have pulled it off, dude. Like, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, what the system has done is convinced everybody to go home and not play the game, dude. And what I can assure you is that's not the rebellion. The rebellion is to jump into the center of the chest of the agent, dude. It is not to walk away. It is not to go hide. And you know, it really is. It is the moment. I mean, The Matrix is such a great movie because it does explain it. It's when they're watching Neo get beat up. They're on the ship, right? They're watching on the Nebuchadnezzar. They're watching Neo get beat up in the digital world, right? And he's down, and they're all going, run. And that's when he goes, no, I'm not gonna run. And he jumps he goes into the battle, right? And that's what this is the rebellion is not to run, dude. And for most youth, the what the running is drugs and alcohol, man. Escapism, dude. That's the run. And if you ask me if I could go back, I go back into time and understand how much I was over the target. And that's what I'm trying to say is if you're convinced that you're pushing back against the system and you see it, and you think that the drugs and alcohol are the rebellion, stop, because you already figured it out, dude. You already figured it out. And what that stuff's trying to do is to get you to run away from it, dude. And if I could go back to myself, like I don't have any regrets about my story, but what I would go back to tell myself is you're over the target, dude. You are over the target. Do not give them an inch. And the inch that I gave them was bong hits. The inch I gave them was keggers. The inch I gave them was psychedelics. The inch I gave them was the thought that rebelling was some sort of like drug thing, dude. I can't tell you that is it. The rebellion is not Burning Man dancing on MDMA or whatever they're dancing. No, the rebellion is staying true, dude. The rebellion is staying true to the concept of the youth, man. It is not staying a youth. It is about rebelling, is about fighting for the youth, dude, advocating for them. And there's never been a greater time in world history where this is on full display. And again, as I've, like I said, the reason they don't want you to have children is so that you don't understand the skin in the game. Because if you had a child and you knew what the child was and is and will ever forever be, you would realize that you have all the power, dude. The minute that you have worked, like, listen, what is a child? A child is a mom and a dad getting together with God to create a new human being. Think about that for a second, right? A mom and a dad work together to create a new human being with the divinity of God. And so you have this human being that came directly from God to you. It's not a disempowerment. It is the ultimate power. And so I realized this because I had a child later in life, dude. And I think I speak to people that are, guys, I hear it a lot in the commentary out there of I can't this and I can't that, and all the reasons why I can't and I shouldn't. And I go, no, that's the system getting you to run away. Have that child and go with God. But the key to it all is don't be loaded, dude. You have to, like, I can't really illustrate it enough is the number one thing that the system has, the tool the system has in our psyche as Western people, of Americans especially. I can only speak as an American. The number one tool the system has for Americans to turn them away from the system is drugs and alcohol, man. I can't express it enough, man. If you want to push back against the system, dude, the first thing you can do to push back against the system is not take their drugs, dude. Not smoke their weed, not eat their mushrooms and take their acid and their DMT and their molecules and their Molly and whatever they're handing out nowadays, right? If you can wrap your hand about the first act of rebellion is not to take their calmers, dude, their inhibitors, and shut down your mind. And that's the only thing that I would say, because I woke up early, dude, in my life. I remember waking up in the first year of junior college, dude. And if I'd only knew what I know now, that the man had pre-placed drugs and alcohol in the story, I imagine where I would have advocated for myself in a much different way. And so when I think about this right now, I think about the fact that the youthful music, like if you're a young musician, that's it. The music is the way through this whole thing. I've been thinking a lot about, where we are, time and space, and, the closing of the panopticon and the palantir and the genocide going on. And I go, the one thing that they can't ever take away is the sonic frequencies. And the more I'm thinking about it, it is, that's why I'm super stoked my child's chosen percussion, because percussion is timeless, dude. I don't know. I'm not so convinced about guitars and that kind of stuff, dude. I do know percussion taps into it all, dude. But I think it doesn't really matter because you can master the frequency and when the trumpets blow, the walls of Jericho come tumbling down, baby. And so what I'm getting at is wherever you are in time and space. I again, as I can only speak as an adult right now with a child. But what I can tell you, dude, is our responsibility is anyone who's above the age of 18 at this point is to advocate for the youth and do everything they can to energetically switch the switch, because they're trying to crush us with this global panopticon thing, dude. And listen, it's coming, dude. Like, it's coming, dude. The digital net is coming. But then again, so what? So what? So what? We're actually, for the first time, I'm listening to a pastor like preach about Revelation, which is fantastic, dude. And you think about the time of after Jesus's death, what it was to be a Christian and the persecution of the entire Roman Empire. And you understand that the net that the Roman Empire had was far superior to any digital net they have now. And that's what I find interesting is you want to really like put the screws to people, just start chucking them in lions' dens, dude. Have them be chowed in front of the entire city in a lion's den, dude, right? Like, think about what they were doing to the Christians after Jesus's resurrection, dude. Think about what the Roman Empire was doing. And ask yourself now, in 2025, what are you really afraid of, dude? Like, what are you really, because they're doing it live time over in Gaza. Like they're doing it, whatever it is, live time in Gaza. And what are those people doing? They are steadfast. 2 years later, they're still steadfast, dude. And ask yourself, what is it that everybody's so worried about? And what I will tell you is that it's the opposite of advocating for the youth. I can't tell you what it is. I can just tell you that the opposite of what everybody's worried about is advocating for the youth. And if you truly want to advocate for the youth, you got to go get involved and get involved with the thing. And yes, you are going to find out that the system has the cards stacked against you. Like I found out with with the skateboarding thing. The skateboard park's going to be done in 4 months. I will have dedicated 15 years advocating for the skate park. And every step of the way, I was fought by the city government, dude. Every step of the way, fought by city government. And you know how we got that done? Because I just kept showing up, dude. I kept showing up. And again, And what I will tell you is you pick your one thing that you're going down to advocate for, dude. And you will find out along the way that there's a lot of people advocating for a lot of good stuff. And by just sheer osmosis, you will begin to advocate for more good stuff because they will already have built a machine to advocate for their cause. And that's sort of what it is I think that when we think about this, if your focus is advocating for the youth, you want to make the world a better place, right? Which means it's an all-in investment. And you want the children to have a reason to be raised. See, like advocating for the youth is just not, I'm like pro-life, and you're going to leave the world a dumpster fire. No, if you truly are pro-life, you're trying to make sure the world isn't a dumpster fire. And I got it, dude. I got it, man. It's so overwhelming right now. I sit sometimes and I look at the skeletons of those sequoia trees burned up in that forest up there, and it makes me want to quit and just go, what is the point? Mountains don't care though, right? The mountains don't care. And I realize that if I ever quit, man, if I ever lose the fire, then the system won, dude. And I've quit on the youth, man, because it's not about me. It's not even about my son. It's about my son's children's children. It is about the children that are 10 generations from me that I'm advocating for. It's not even my one right here, dude. But the thing that I realized is that part of the beauty of it is my son doesn't have to go through the same learning curve that I had to go through. See, I had to wake up, dude. I had to go and seek knowledge on my own. I had to waste a bunch of time on the spiritual quest, dude, to find the truth, man. I had to go out and figure it all out for myself, dude. But the thing is, and my son will rebel and do whatever he's got to do, about it, that's what youth are supposed to do, right? But the thing is we've already done the groundwork of understanding the acceptance of the healing of the pain. See, that the advocacy for the youth comes down to realizing you're in a system that is hell-bent to deny you of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This system has been corrupted and is trying to crush the spirit of those who would advocate for the adults. See, if they can crush the spirit of those who advocate for the youth, they don't need to crush the youth, dude. See, and I think that's it, is I look back and think, why did they come down so hard on the boomers, dude? And if you follow the boomers have turned out to be the lamest group of people. Why? Because they got crushed from basically like the 60s on, dude. They, in their youth, they tried, but what did they do? They took the drugs and smoked the weed and ate the acid. They had it. They had it for a moment, dude. In the early 60s, they had it, dude. When they were pure anti-war activists, when they were fighting against the war and joining the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement. Dude, I was just watching this thing about like how gnarly what Muhammad Ali did really was, dude. I had no idea. You kind of hear about the thing of what Muhammad Ali really did. I had no idea that the Supreme Court was decided to go with Muhammad Ali. And what did Muhammad Ali do, dude? That was so gnarly. In the prime of his career, that dude refused to go to war. He refused to be inducted in the draft. And he was already famous. And I was like, whoa, dude, like that dude stood on principle and was willing to risk 5 years in federal prison, dude. And they were going to make an example of him. And he didn't back down. And the Supreme Court ultimately came down and was like, no, you can't put him in. You can't do this because it's religious freedom. We just experienced it during the 2020s, dude. If you stand on the truth and advocate, you was a young guy then, dude. Like our job is to stand true. And what the reason I'm bringing up the Muhammad Ali thing, because that's right when Martin Luther King's there, Malcolm X. Why did they go and go crazy and dump drugs and all weaponize the anthropology? Because the movement that began at that time wasn't a drug movement. It wasn't psychedelics and summer. It was about what it is to be a human being, dude, and the core principles of what it is to be a human being. And it got corrupted by the drugs and the alcohol. And they used the music against them all too, because the drugs and the alcohol combined with the music make for a pretty wicked alchemist reaction in Sorceryville, dude, right? And so what I'm getting at is our job has always been, as human beings, our sole purpose of life, besides making an actual connection with God, is to advocate for the youth. That is like your primary mission as a divine creature of God, is to advocate for the youth, to bring up the youth for the next, and make the world a better place. And something just clicked in today, and right before it was like, yeah, and to advocate for the youth isn't an easy thing. It is an uphill battle where the cards are stacked against you in no uncertain terms. And no, dude, when me and my bro almost pulled this off, the cards were stacked so tall against us, and we got the cards down to like eye level, dude, and almost toppled the deck. We almost pulled it off, dude. And yet the cards were stacked against us, dude. And what I'm getting at is I guess any step along the way, we could have walked away and been like, oh, well, the system, the cards are stacked against us. But we didn't, because we as adults have to believe in ourselves, man. We have to believe in ourselves. And it's okay if it's a chaotic mission, dude. It's okay if we're fighting windmills. If our primary purpose is to advocate for the youth, man. And I'm telling you, and unfortunately, this is we're always going to go back to this until it stops. You can't advocate for the youth while there is a genocide going on Spaceship Earth. I don't know how to get around that, dude. As long as children are being systematically destroyed with munitions paid for and manufactured by the United States of America, dude, we're not advocating for the youth. And I got it. Like, we just have to say that to be clear that that's how stacked the deck is against us, is that at this very moment right now, our system of evildoers is destroying the limbs and souls of young people somewhere on Spaceship Earth. And so it wants us to quit. It wants us to go, oh my God, that's too much. It's too impossible. It's not. Again, is I think I really do. As silly as this sounds, I think it's like, have some children, dude, and bring them up. The kids are all right, man. The kids are all right, dude. And we have to break them, advocate for them, dude. And part of the advocating for them is not to be lazy, dude, or not to be apathetic, or not to be loaded, dude. Like, sober the fuck up, man. I can't say that enough, dude. And yeah, the primary function of connecting to God has gone awry in this age. Yeah, Gary, it has. And thank you, Floyd. Would you be bummed if your kid decided not to have kids? Well, that's a good question, Floyd. What I would say is this is the reason that one wouldn't is due to propaganda. And look, I can only speak from my own thing is I was a dude who wasn't going to have kids. This world's a terrible place. They're chopping down the trees and people suck and evil and the whole thing. And then I did it at 45 years of age, dude. And I will tell you, dude, the amount of, again, that's divine intervention, right? I got sober at 40. God intervened in my life. and gave me clarity about this subject. But what I will tell you is it's only due to propaganda that you wouldn't want to do your primary purpose as a human being. Your primary purpose as a human being is to have offspring, to defend. And your primary purpose as a man is to defend the cave entrance, dude. Your primary purpose as a woman is to raise the offspring, to propagate the next generation. And us as men are supposed to make sure that they can safely do that. And when you stare into your child's eye, it changes everything. Yeah, like trust me, I would say a month ago, I sat out here in this field and I was like, what did I do? And then I was like, oh my God, that's the propaganda. And I can look and me and my son talk about this all the time. We talk about, put it this way, anything I'm talking about here, I've had in-depth conversations with him out there, dude. Like, so he's quite aware of what's going on in Gaza. He's quite aware of what's going on this planet. He's quite aware of his ability to affect change. He's quite aware of Jesus Christ in his life. And he's quite aware of the suffering of the forest, if you will. And I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. That's ego, dude. That's all ego, dude. You have the weight of yourself on your head on your shoulders, dude. That's the only weight you have is your head on your shoulders, dude. Because see, I used to play that game too, like, dude, like, and that is, again, that's the system. That is the system convincing you to quit, because you can't solve the world's problems. All you can do is solve your own metaphysical problem, right? All you can do is heal your own spiritual truth, man. It just goes back to the stuff I'm always talking about. Once you heal yourself and you can look in the mirror and love yourself as God loves you, dude, and forgive yourself as God forgave you, and begin to move out from that interface, you will realize that you've always had the ability to change the world. That's the greatest rub they've ever told us, is one person can't change the world. That's the only one who can change the world. You are the only one who can change the world. How do I do that? You got to get with God. Like and I keep it general, because like, you have to go on the mission to seek it. I don't know where you are on your journey, but I will tell you, dude, I've been there, dude. I have been on the one who stood at the edge. I stood in the middle of the forest when they were killing the ancients, dude. I've watched the destruction. I understand how gnarly the machine is. I saw the Lorax, dude. Is it the Lorax, the one that is that? But the Lorax doesn't do the cutting. Is it the Lorax that does the cutting? What's the one, that one cartoon where they're in the? I've seen it, dude. And what I can say is I've looked at the beast, man, and the beast was always inside of me, dude. The beast, the one. See, and I'll go to this thing. When I always tell the story. Well, I saw the Lorax or the machine or whatever it is, the world destroyer. I saw the destroyer killing the trees in front of us in real time. And then I was like, thought that I was going to defend the world against that. And how was I going to defend the world against that? I was going to become eviler than the world. That's when the trees spoke to me and they said, not in our name, dude. If you do that, that's for you. That ain't for us, man. We don't need your evil, vile energy here, dude. Like, you either heal it or shut the front door, dude. And so I had to go on a journey, right? I had to go on a metaphysical journey through alcoholism and drug addiction for near, say, 15, 16 years. And the reason I had to do that is because there is the root of all evil is me. I contain it. I'm the number one offender, dude. There is nobody more evil and vile than me without God, dude. I have such capacity for it. I don't know if I don't have it. Like I have that ability to not care about my fellow man and all that. And what I'm trying to say is that was the weight of the world, right? See, the weight of the world was me knowing I could do all this and ultimately, and I had the power, right? I have the power to be the destroyer, dude. And see that that's the weight of the world. But once I understood that's fake, that the truth is that I am also grace and love and forgiveness, dude, as I was created in his image, that I don't need to have the weight of the world because I'm weightless, I'm infinite, I'm beautiful, I'm grace, right? Because that's what was given to me. And that's what it is. And then that's the point where you see the potentiality of our youth. When you and what I'm getting at is, see, those when I was young, there weren't people advocating for it, but maybe there were. Maybe they were the people protecting the forest and the wildernesses that made these beautiful sacred places, dude. And maybe they did. Maybe it was the Redwood League was advocating for me when they went and bought up all those redwoods to make sure they didn't get cut down. I don't know how it works, dude. But all I know is I don't remember anyone in my youth talking to me about the advocacy for myself. And what I mean is understand. I got it was all just you could be anything. And I'm not talking about my immediate family or any of that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the general milieu of society. It was you can be anything you want. You can do anything you want. It was decadence and hedonism and all of that stuff. And what I'm getting at is our job of advocating for the youth is to teach them that to not quit, to not step away from the system, to go into the agent's chest, to not run from it. Don't stop running from the agent. And the easiest way to run from the agent is drugs and alcohol. And I don't know, what is it, video games now and all of that kind of stuff. And so we've got to go advocate for the youth. And it's that thing of just sitting back and understanding that is our primary purpose, is to advocate for the youth, to protect them, to make them advocate for their youth and then the next youth. Like our job doesn't end. Like that's what I sort of trip on, like older people right now, like that are old, that aren't really like going in and battling the machine like fully. Like you got to advocate for the youth to your last breath, man. And I guess like, yeah, we lost one. Like me and my buddy, we lost the battle yesterday, but we fought for the youth. You get what I'm saying? Like we went against the system and battled for the youth. We didn't roll over. Yeah, we didn't win that one. It sucks, dude. Some kids don't get a skate park out in Altadena now. That sucks, dude. That sucks. But that's what the system wants. See, the system wants to take that skate park and just throw it in the garbage. And so those kids out in Altadena can't skate, dude, or some kids can't skate and advocate for the youth. But the system also wants those of us who have fought so hard for the youth to quit too. And I think I'm the motivational speech I'm giving is for me, man. Because I gotta say, like it's a sour taste to realize that people really don't want to make things happen for the youth, man. They really do despise them and not care about them. And I go, that's insane. And I go, but that's the proof that we've fallen away from God. There's no greater proof that we've fallen away from God than the destruction of our children's future, i.e., the forest and the lands and shopping malls and tropical rainforests and bike paths around islands, dude, and all of this stuff. It's not the boomer way. You have to understand, like that's one of the cop-outs, dude, that the boomers got crushed, dude. And they're a result of a societal beatdown, dude. Because they took the drugs, dude. And that they opened the door, dude. They opened the portal to the beastly system, and they abandoned God in the name of the drugs, dude. And so, yeah, you could argue that's the boomers' way, but I would say that's almost a cop-out, because like the new way. It's JS, it's we're talking about like an idea, dude. You're way off target, dude. But whatever. Again, yeah. Every community should be investing their full capacity of their ability in the youth, dude. Whatever that may be, it's got to start somewhere. Every community needs a place where the youth can be safe and advocate for themselves and all that kind of stuff. It surely isn't. I don't think people understand that for many youth and the broken fabric of the American society, dude, if you've got nowhere for them to go with other youth and have a space of their own, they end up falling off and become exactly what the system wants them to be, dude. So yeah, nothing like a little recreation, dude. And there's nothing wrong with scooter kids, dude. The war against the scooter kids is stupid, dude. I don't get it, man. Like our local skate parks it's generally scooter kids. And you know what? If that's what they got, they're cooler than the skate kids, from what I can tell at this point, dude. The new generation of skate kids are the jocks. But that's like, I'm going down there. They got to figure it all out. That's the point. But you got to teach them, man. And I don't think that's why I think that like this, yeah, like I have a lot of conversation with these kids on their scooters down at the park. We talk about these things, dude. And I remember Demal's brew. And so I guess what I'm saying is don't ever quit, man. Don't ever quit advocating for the youth. And the best advice I can give is start advocating for yourself while you're a youth. And the most important way to advocate for yourself is do not do the system's mind-altering substances, dude. Avoid it at all costs. And I know that's a tall order. I do. I'm not one of those. I'm not a square. I do know it's a tall order. But if you can articulate that into your stony moment, you might actually, because no one told me that in my stony moment. Nobody gave me the thing. Because you have to understand, I grew up in the just say no, dare era, dude, where drugs were, yeah. There was nobody going, hey, you know what, kid, you're going to go smoke some weed. I get why you're going to go smoke some weed. You're going to see something. You're going to want to push back against this square nonsense. You want to know how to really push back against the square nonsense, kid, dude? Put their weed down. They're the ones handing out the weed, dude. And it's all going to come out. And I think it already is that all the anti-drug stuff is promoted by the drug pushers themselves, dude, which is the system, man. And clear mind, clear direction, dude. And but again, is hey, you got to do what you got to do on your journey. I think our job as adults is to sprinkle good seeds out there, right? Like that's what I'm trying to say is like I grew up in a time where it was all black and white about it. You're either if you're on drugs, you're bad, dude. Remember they used to do all the ads when I was young. This is your brain, and this is your. It was like an egg, and then it was your brain on drugs with chips in a frying pan and stuff. It was like there was nobody going, "Hey, man, like this is your brain," and you throw some color on there, or you could really just get gnarly, dude. Really, but they don't want you gnarly. That's what we got to teach the youth is they don't want you gnarly, dude. They don't want you gnarly. They don't want you at 56 still fired up. I'm supposed to be like done at this point, dude. That's what I'm trying to tell you, dude, is somehow through my journey, I've still managed to keep the fire, dude. And I still am fired up. And they are not going to get me, dude. And I got it. My purpose is to advocate for the youth, dude, till the very end. Anyway, that's what I got for you tonight. We're going to keep it going, dude. And so that's what I got. Don't forget to tip your talker or become a member, dude. I don't even know how many. I got to get my Etsy store all in line, dude. If you want any of this art back there, let me know, dude. I got all sorts of stuff. And we're gonna cut out. It's time to go feed the animals. And yeah, with that, stay blessed, use the name tags, and stay gnarly too, dude. All right, it's the Illusion signing off. Okay.